Several fast-moving wildfires continued to burn across Northern California Monday. 20,000 people have been forced out of the area. Firefighters say the flames have destroyed more than 1,500 buildings and burned through nearly 80,000 acres. The fires are also blamed for at least one death. CBS News' Danielle Nottingham is in Santa Rosa, California. So, Danielle, these fires have spread frighteningly fast. What are authorities saying about containment efforts there?
Well, Elaine, so far there's no word on any significant containment, and the problem was the winds, wind gusts of up to 70 miles per hour. You can imagine how fast that moves these flames. And if you take a look behind me, this is a neighborhood near Coffey Park, and 4 blocks. Not one house still standing in this neighborhood. No. The only things recognizable at this point, chimneys, burnt out cars. You can see this young man right here. His name is Tyler. He lives in this house right here. He rented it out with some roommates, and he's just coming back right now to see if there's anything he could salvage, anything he has left. And so far, he said all he could find was nothing. All he has are the clothes on his back and his motorcycle. So this is really sinking in for a lot of people here, Elaine.
Wow, just heartbreaking to see that. I'm wondering, Danielle, can you tell us more about the extent of the damage throughout the region at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. Just a moment ago, we were just talking about how strange it is, the things that are destroyed, the things that survive. If you take a look at this whole house is gone, but the trash can is still there. And Tyler, just a moment ago, was digging through it to see if there were any of his belongings in here that he could take away with him. And it, Elaine, goes for blocks and blocks. He said this was a garage. It used to be his man cave. Now it's just a pile of rubble. You see these burnt out cars, and this goes for blocks. I spoke to another woman who lives here. She said that she was awake at 2 a.m. She knew there was trouble because the lights went out. And then after that, she had maybe about 40 minutes to get out. But she said the streets were lined with people, lined with cars. There was so much chaos, it was hard to get out. And she came back today, and she said she was happy. She has nothing left, but what was able to be salvaged in this whole thing was a cement block that her son, when he was a baby, they put his handprint in it. They found that in the midst of all of this rubble.
Wow.
So this is what people are returning to here today, and officials are actually urging residents not to come back here. This is still dangerous. You can see there are hot spots. There's still gas running in some of these pipes. They said that their number one concern is to save lives right now and to get people into shelter, Elaine.
Yeah, that was going to be my question, Danielle, because that image over your shoulder there, it looks like something is still burning at this hour. And I know from talking to Mireya Villarreal, that was one of the issues that firefighters have been having throughout the day, which was they put down a fire and then they'd only have it come back up 4 or 5 hours later and basically cause a lot more destruction than it did the first time around. I mean, how are residents kind of calculating those risks as they decide to come back into these areas, even as you still see fires burning?
Yeah, the woman that I spoke to, she's actually a nurse at one of the hospitals. 2 hospitals in this area were evacuated. One stayed open because it's a trauma center, and she said she knows officials are asking people not to return, but she said, I had to go back. My son asked if we could go back to see if we have anything left. And we actually spotted a utility worker earlier going around. It's these pipes over here. If you can see them, he was trying to manually shut them off. And he went around to a couple of properties, and they just weren't able to do it. Wow. Yes, and he just wasn't able to close them. And if you look further down the road, there's a bigger open hole there. We've been out here for a couple of hours now. That's been burning there for a while. So although the fire may have passed over this area, there are still concerns about flames reigniting, these gas problems. There are downed power lines, trees are down, roads are closed. So this is just not a safe area for anyone to be in right now.
All right. Well, Danielle, I hope you're safe out there. Danielle Nottingham, thanks so much. We are also tracking fires in Southern California. KNX field reporter Pete Dematrio is on the ground and on the phone with us now. Pete, what's the latest?
In Anaheim Hills, you had a very fast-moving fire that began about 9:45 in the morning, and by fast-moving, pushed by 45-mile-an-hour winds. They had a fire here a couple of weeks ago that took about 2 days to reach 2,600 acres. This one reached 2,500 acres in just a few hours. The scary thing about this fire was going into densely populated sections of the Anaheim Hills. A lot of the homes up here, 4,000 square feet, worth over $1 million, perhaps $2 million each. And the fires would come in with embers being pushed by the flames and literally hopscotch. You would have one home completely destroyed, two others that were on either side of it, not damaged at all. More than 1,000 homes were evacuated from this very densely populated and packed area up in the Anaheim Hills. People got out on any way they could, on motorcycles, on trucks, and on cars, and literally got out of the area and allowed the firefighters to do their work. Air power was, of course, absolutely critical in making sure that more homes weren't lost here.
Wow, terrifying images. Pete Demetrio, thanks so much, Pete.
Not a problem.